Hi there, Dan Jones from Montpelier. We've spent a lot of time here. I'm listening to sort of what the carrot side of things are. Just in Montpelier, I believe in some of the other cities, we have another problem that might lend itself to some sticks that we haven't seen, like there are thousands of parking spaces downtown Montpelier, many subsidized by the state, that are providing free parking. So it's an encouragement for people to use their cars as opposed to finding other modalities to get around. Is there been any consideration of looking at those in the cities, et cetera, so that we're not basically subsidizing more of this in single occupancy vehicle transport than we need to be?
I'll answer that question from the TCI perspective. I'll just say that, Dan, thanks for that question. The piece about the complementary policies, you can stick a number of things into those buckets, but those things that are helping to change people's incentive structures are critically important. I don't know, Senator Ashew.
Yeah, to the extent that the state itself is modeling behaviors, and this is not an excuse to do nothing, but we have to work within the union contract, which determines some of the working conditions, which include the transportation. And therefore, everything is not as simple as passing a bill. It's also about working through that structure.
That's a systematic.
It's a systematic change, and it's one that we're starting to make inroads with. And Senator Perchlik and I have already, this may sound small, but I think it's a harbinger of things to come, have had parking spaces at the State House itself be relocated. So the spaces, many of the spaces closest to the building now will only be for people who carpool to get there. So those are the kinds of things that we'll be talking with the state employees about. And the issue of parking, paying for parking, is one that will, of course, be a huge challenge in that regard. But we're starting to think about how our employees, working with them to model the behavior, we're moving towards encouraging everyone else to do it.
I would just add really quickly on that. This is not about Vermont, but in Massachusetts, we're seeing, I think, finally some more interest in accurately pricing the limited road space and parking space that we have. There's finally more momentum building around congestion pricing as an interesting tool to really help complement all these other measures that we're trying to put into place to reduce traffic, get more cars out of the city, and make sure that people are thinking carefully about how they get around.